Hey everyone, it's me, Laura, and today I'm going to show you the different stages a Natasha goes through when you start from scratch, or when you start where the colors are separated out and you begin to mix them. So we're going to go ahead and I'm chopping up my yellow right here, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to chop up the other colors as well. Again, starting from scratch, I don't want to add in any scrap clay that you normally get from any other project. We want to start from scratch to see the difference as you go to mix and chop and mix and chop. Okay, so here I'm starting to mix the colors together. I added in some black clay just to give it a little bit more depth, if you will. And we're just mixing more colors in, and eventually this will all become one solid wad. All right, so here I'm just chopping it up really quickly, just to kind of getting it mixed in together with all the different colors. I'm going to chop it up a little bit more, and then I'm going to bring that back together, and then I'm going to create a little rounded ball, and then get it into a pretty much like a rectangular block, if you will. Use my rolling pin there, and then cut it in half. This is going to create your first stage or your first image in a Natasha. Now notice it's it's pretty blocky, and so the colors have not really intermixed a whole lot. You know, they're all kind of off into their own little areas yet. So let's go ahead and mix this up, chop this up again, and see what we get a second time around. All right, so that was our first image. We're going to take this and we're going to roll it up and we're going to chop it yet again. We're going to put that back into a wad, and just like we had done before, we're going to go ahead, make it into that brick, and then cut it in half and get our second image. All right, so here's our second image, or our second stage in our Natasha. And notice here that with this image, there's more detail in it. It's not quite as blocky as that first image. And so you get more detail, more colors mixing together, and it looks pretty good. But let's go ahead, chop this up again, and see what other images we can get out of this. So for our third image, or our third stage, we're going to go ahead, we're going to roll up that clay, chop it up, go ahead and make it into a ball, and then into that rectangular brick, and then you're going to cut that in half. Now this is going to be our third image. And look at the detail in that particular piece. The colors are much more mixed together. They're more blended. You're getting a lot more detail. And for me personally, this was my favorite stage. I like to go about 3 sessions of chopping, and then generally the colors are a lot more mixed and you get a lot more detail, and it just is a wonderful image that you start picking up. But with that said, let's go ahead and let's chop this up again and see what other images we get. All right, with stage 4, we're going to do the same process we did the first 3 times, chopping it up, rolling it up, making that brick, and chopping that in half. And we'll see then what kind of an image we get from this stage. Okay, so here we are with our fourth image. Now notice this is a lot more detailed. It's a lot more blended. In fact, the details are starting to get really, really tiny. So you're almost becoming a little bit muddied, but not yet. I mean, this is still a really good image. It's just that it's a lot more detailed and you're losing any kind of larger components where it was more blocky at all. Okay, so here we are with our final stage. And as you can tell, even from here, this is pretty blended together. So we're going to see what we get from that last and final image. All right, so here we have our final image. It's a lot more detailed, it's a lot more blended, but it's starting to get a little muddy. You know, those details are getting to the point where you're not going to see them anymore. So my recommendation is really probably not to do too much more beyond this step. You can go ahead and do Natasha's past this, but like I said, the images become more muddied and you're not going to have as much of a detailed image. So here we have all 5 stages of the Natasha. Use this for study or reference. And if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and send me a comment. I love to find out what you're thinking. And as always, guys, I'm sending out my biggest hugs to you all, and I hope you have a fantastic day.